what was Christ's first miracle? What did he do? You ever went to church? I know when you was younger, they used to force you to know, right? Right. So was I. But what was Christ's first miracle then, right? What did he do to water? He turned water into what? Into wine. You agree with that, right, sis?
Verse 9, verse 12. His eyes shall be red with wine.
That's the prophecy. His eyes shall be red with wine. Because Christ turned water into wine. Yes, he drank some of that wine. He was not a drunk. Christ drank wine in moderation. Right? Just like we are able to drink wine. And when we drink, the pupils of our eyes turn red. Right? Read back to Revelation. Read that. I'll finish that off.
Genesis chapter 49 verse 12. His eyes shall be red with wine, and his teeth white with milk.
Finish the Revelation. Go back to Revelation. Yeah.
Revelation chapter 1 verse 14. His head and his hairs were white like wool.
That's the black person, read.
His white as snow, and his eyes was as a flame of fire, and his feet like unto fine brass.
And his feet like unto fine brass. What is the color of brass?
Brown.
Brown. Brother, what you say, brother? What color brass is? Not grass, brass. Bronze, right? Like brown, like a penny, right? His feet was like unto fine brass, brown. And now how brown words they read?
As if they burn in a furnace.
As if they burn in a furnace.
And his voice as the sound of many waters.
So yeah, so his eyes, his voice is the sound of many waters. Brother, let me ask you a question, brother. With everything that's going on in the world, we know that we are the chosen people on this Bible. We are the chosen people that God has chosen from the beginning of time. We know that, right? Huh? We are the chosen people, right? So being that we are the greatest people on this earth, why are we going through the things that we're going through? Why do we keep going from one house to another house, or being given to the hands of them? In fact, give me that Deuteronomy 28:32. Because, 41? 32. Give me 28:32. Because guess what? We went from houses to houses to houses, right? We was taken from our own comfort and given to the other people, which a lot of times we end up in foster care. And sometimes you can't even stay in this foster care, you have to go to another one, right? Which is all ran by the same exact people, correct? Read that.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 32. Read. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people.
Don't you realize foster care is, that's telling you basically that's what foster care is about? That's a curse. It's a curse in the Bible that we would be given unto another people, right? A curse that you would be born, that your parents wouldn't even want you. Now you got to be given to another nation, be put into foster care. I don't know this only majority happening to all people.
Right.
This don't happen to everybody. Because the white people, when they have their kids, they stay in their household.
Right.
This is predominantly happening to the so-called blacks and the Hispanics. The same people that you see in the street corners, dealing drugs. The same people. Same people that they have to police the border so they don't come through, right? The same exact people. This is how we know what we are the chosen of the children of Israel, because God said these curses will only be put upon us. That's how we would identify who we are today. Now, knowing all this, how do we overcome these curses? How do we get past all these curses, brother? How do we get past these curses? How do we overcome them? How do we stop ourselves from being put in foster care, from being given to the other people? How do we fix that problem?
I don't know. I was newborn. I was in the system. I came up in the system my whole life.
But your whole life. But how can now? You how old you is right now?
I'm 19.
You're 19, right? Do you have an option to change that now?
I've been changed.
You've been changed that, right? But guess what? You've been changed that, but you are still you still cursed today, though. Believe it or not, right? You're still not doing what God's telling you to do. So you may have changed the fact that you don't have to go into foster home, but guess what? You still not following what God had told you to do, which is the same reason why we went into slavery in the first place, right? Read that.
Deuteronomy.
Sis, don't go nowhere, sis. Don't go nowhere. Come back. Cause I know you might have a question. You got a question, right? Come here. Come here, sis. What's going on? Well, talk to me. What's going on? Talk to me. What's in your mind right now? What you thinking about? What are you thinking about? Just tell me one. Give me a thought process of what was going on in your mind to see if we can help you out. Come back, sis. Come back. Come back and listen. Huh? But guess what? The only way we can fix the things we're going through, we have to talk about it. You can't hold all that anger in, sis. All the stuff you're going through, you cannot hold that in. Read that. Give me that. Read.
Deuteronomy chapter 10, verse 12. And now, Israel, what doth the Lord thy God require of thee?
So, brother, what does God require of you? Now you're old enough, now you don't have to be put into the foster home. What does God require of you now? Right? Read.
What does the Lord require of thee? But to fear the Lord, or fear the Lord thy God, to walk in all his ways, and to love him, and to serve the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul.
So my brother, let me ask you a question. How do we show God that we fear him, right? How do we show God that we fear him? Huh? It's a conversation, bro. We can talk. You ain't gotta be shy, man. You gotta be timid, man. We can talk. Just give me a shot. What do you think? All right, let me ask you a question, right? Yeah, we're gonna read it again. But when you know how in the household, right? Your parents set laws, correct? You know if you break the laws that's in the household, what's gonna happen to you?
Sanctuary.
Right? That means your parents, they gonna tear your behind up, right? Guess what? But you have to fear them enough to know, hey, they passed the law, let me not break that so I don't get my behind whooped, right? Because that's fear that you put that in the worldly sense, right? So now when it comes to God the Father, how do we show him that we fear him? Huh? We're gonna show you. Give me that. No, give me a fear. Psalms 119, 120. Give me that. We're gonna show you how we show God that we fear him, right? And then we're gonna give you some laws so you can start practicing how to fear God. Because if you fear God, you're gonna start doing what he tells you to do. Right. Because guess what? There's judgment for not doing what God tells you to do. Yeah, but what does that mean though? You have it tattooed on you, but not knowing what it really means, right? But guess what? You're gonna find out today. Read that. How you doing, brother? Right now we're showing my brother how to fear God, right? Read that.
Psalms 119, 120. My flesh trembleth for the fear of thee, and I am afraid of thy judgment.
You gotta be afraid of God's judgment. That's how you show God you fear him. To be afraid of the judgment he might put upon you, right? Just for example, if you sleeping around, right? What judgment might come off out of that? What judgment might come out of you sleeping around and not being married, or committing fornication or adultery, right? What may come out of that? What? Give me 2860. Well, hold that. Give me 2861. I'm gonna show you what may come out of you doing that. This is just one judgment I'm showing you. But guess what? Because the Bible said the wages of sin is death, right? So the wages of sin is death. So by you committing sin, God just haven't killed you yet. He's giving you a chance, like right now, to come across the prophet so you can learn what his laws is so you can stop breaking them. Like today's the Sabbath day, which we'll go into that. Read.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 61. Also every sickness and every plague which is not written in the book of this law, then will the Lord bring upon thee.
Is AIDS written in the Bible? Gonorrhea, syphilis, is all that written in the Bible? But all those sickness come from what? Sexual sins, bruh. All these sickness come from sexual sins. And guess what? They're not written in the Bible. Guess what? These are judgment God put upon you though. Right? When you catch those diseases, God's the one that made you catch them diseases. Why? Because you're not keeping marriages honorable. You're not keeping basically staying abstinent to yourself till you actually get married. You understand what I'm saying? You're not keeping these little things that God has told us. Now, I know growing up, my parents have told me about these things, but they never showed me that in the Bible. You understand? What you had holding from you?
That was Psalms.
Yeah, read that again.
Psalms 119 and verse 120. My flesh trembleth for thee, and I am afraid of thy judgments.
My flesh trembles for fear of thee. And you got to be afraid of the judgments of God. Like today, again, like I was telling you, today's the Sabbath day, right? What are we supposed to be doing on the Sabbath day today? What can we do and what can't we do on the Sabbath? It's all right. Well, again, that's why you're here, man. You're here to learn, right? You're here to learn and you're willing to learn. We're going to show you what you can and can't do on the Sabbath. Give me, read.
Exodus chapter 20 and verse 8. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shall thy labor and do all thy work.
God said, remember the Sabbath day, knowing that we would forget it. That's why I tell you to remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. 6 days you can labor and do all your work. Meaning what? When is the first day of the week? Monday's not the first day of the week. Sunday's the first day of the week, right?
That's right.
So guess what? Sunday, from Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 6 days you shall labor and do all your work. But what?
But the Sabbath day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God.
Which is today. The 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. Now what can't you do on the Sabbath? Read.
In it thou shalt not do any work.
Thou shalt not do any work. I know we're in captivity right now, right? Some of us may have to work on these days. That's why you gotta pray to the Lord, right? To give you these days off. The white man have a system where things in his system where you can get these days off, where you can get stuff written out for religious belief to get the Saturday off, if you really want it. You gotta fear God enough to be able to go to Him and be like, hey man, this is my belief. I have to get these days off. You have to fear God enough to go to Him. You can't be afraid of the white man more than you are afraid of God. You understand what I'm saying? Is that it on that? Read.
In it thou shalt not do no work. Thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates.
Nobody in the household is supposed to work. Hey sis, today is the Sabbath day, sis. You ain't supposed to be buying or selling today. So if you know what you doing here today, if you know today's the Sabbath day and you know what you should, huh? So you met us before, so you learned about the Sabbath?
Yeah.
So what can't you do on the Sabbath? You don't remember? Stay right here, let me read it for you. Let me read it, all right? You fear God, right? You love God?
Yes.
Huh? You say yes? So if God tells you not to break the Sabbath, are you going to do it? All right, let's read it. Read it.
Verse 10. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy.
So just like you forgot, right? God said, remember the Sabbath day. Why? Because He know our people is going to forget. We're going to forget. Read.
6 days shall thy labor.
So God give you 6 days to do all the things you want to do, which is your shopping, your groceries. You have 6 days to do all these things. Why on the 7th day y'all feel like y'all have to break God's laws to come and shop? You don't fear God enough you don't fear God. It's the reason why you're doing that. Read.
And do all thy work.
Do all your work.
But the Sabbath day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God.
But the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. We all know Sunday is the first day of the week.
Right.
We all know that. So if Sunday is the first day of the week, that makes Saturday the 7th day.
Right.
And God said, it's the 7th day you should not do any work. Now give me no buying. Give me that. Because that's what the sister of church is about to go do, is go shopping. About to get some groceries, right?
Yeah.
Right? Well, we're going to show you that you had 6 days to do that. You had 6 days to do it. There's no excuses, man. We have to stop making excuses for breaking God's laws. We have to. Read that.
Nehemiah 10:31.
10:31, yeah. Nehemiah 10:31. Because we have to stop making excuses. Because we make so much excuses to where you start believing that God's laws don't exist. Right? All those come from excuses. And in your churches, the pastors tell you that you don't have to keep God's laws. Read that.
Nehemiah chapter 10 verse 31. And if the people of the land bring anywhere or any victuals on the Sabbath day to sell,
That's what they're doing in there, read.
that we would not buy it of them.
Because guess what? We are the children of Israel. We are not supposed to partake and buy anything on the Lord's Sabbath day. Right? Read.
we will not buy it of them on the Sabbath day.
On the Sabbath day. So if the people bring where any victuals, these items you see in the stores, the groceries, we would not buy it of them on the Sabbath. Why? Go back to go back to Exodus 20. Go back to, this is why we would not buy it of them. Read. Because God already told you why.
Exodus 20.
Read.
Exodus 20, chapter 20, verse 8. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shall thy labor and do all thy work. But on the Sabbath day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God.
Because on the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God, and you're supposed to keep it holy. Now, what should you be doing on the Sabbath? Can you cook on the Sabbath? Why? Why you can't cook on the Sabbath?
That would be like not abide by what he says.
Right, because guess what? Cooking on the Sabbath is not keeping the Sabbath holy.
Right.
Right? We're going to read that.
Exodus chapter 35, verse 3. Ye shall kindle no fire throughout your habitations upon the Sabbath day.
You shall kindle no fire upon your habitation on Sabbath day. Kindle fire means going into cooking. You can't be cooking on the Sabbath. You think, are you going to die if you don't cook on the Sabbath? That's why you're supposed to prepare. You prepare, meal prep. You meal prep the day before for the Sabbath day, so you can keep the laws of God. Now, sis, Sabbath thing, that's one thing, right? That is one thing. Now, when it comes to our sisters, right? Our lovely sisters, correct? How does God say we should conduct and dress ourselves like for the woman? Come closer, sister. Come closer. So you, it's okay, but listen to this though. You need to hear this. Don't go nowhere. Let me read that. Give me that. Deuteronomy. 1 Timothy 2:9 first. Listen, sis. All right, listen to this, sis.
1 Timothy chapter 2, 1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 9. In like manner also, that women adorn themselves in modest apparel.
So, sis, listen. I know you've never been taught this, correct? I get it. But you, as a woman, supposed to adorn yourself in modest apparel. Are you married? You're not married. What does it mean to adorn yourself in modest apparel? What does it mean to be modest?
To be modest, in my opinion, I would say to not show anything.
To not show anything, right? Because everything that's underneath your clothing is for who? It's supposed to be for who? Your husband, correct? So if you out here showing your stuff to everybody, right? Is that being modest?
No,
You're showing sexual attention to people out here, right? Because guess what? Brothers deal with problems like that. Brothers deal with lust, right? And the way you dress, you're not helping your brother keep that. You basically. Look, come look at this, sis. Look at this. Is there a problem wrong with dressing like this? Right? Because people think when you dress in modest, when you got to wear a dress, they think you got to look like our foremothers back in the plantations.
Right.
Guess what? You don't have to dress like that. We have sisters who dress modestly and still look beautiful, sis. You don't have to show off your body to be beautiful. You understand what I'm saying? Because what you have is for your husband. It's how you carry yourself differently. So therefore, the man only have one goal in mind. And once he get that, what else does he want to do with you? You have to hold yourself accountable, right? To hold these men accountable, right? It starts with you, how you carry yourself, how you dress. Okay, sis, did you get a flyer?
I have.
You have one? Sis, read that flyer. It says contact us, come to the school. Come learn how to conduct yourself.
I plan on coming eventually, but I have so many other things I'm doing. I'm a teen mom, I have my own business.
Guess what? But if you was keeping the Sabbath day, you wouldn't have to worry about that.
Right, you're right.
If you was keeping the Sabbath, you wouldn't have to worry about that. Because guess what? We all have things going on. We're married, we're business owners. We all have 3-4 kids. We have a wife. We have job. We do the same thing. But guess what? We fear God enough to know we have to keep the Sabbath day.
Right.
So everything else, guess what? It get put on the back burner.
Right.
We'll get to it on Sunday. We'll catch up on Sunday. And Monday, Tuesday. You have time to do it. You have to fear God enough to do that.
Shalom, Israel. This is Bishop Nathaniel. I want you to know that you can view all our Sabbath classes live on IUIC TV. That's right, I said on IUIC TV. Download the app today. Shalom.
What is a nation? Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is men leading by example. Nation is women's support. Nation is children with role models.